I'm Mandy Roeing. I live in Downs. I graduated from the University of North Carolina with a BFA in studio art, and I work in soft pastels. Really excited to work with Cathy Engberg on this. We both paint lots of different subject matter, but tend to gravitate towards water for a decent portion of it. So it's kind of fun to see just the different reasons that we are drawn to the water. And I think everyone is to some extent. So it'll be fun to see how viewers connect with the work. And for my part, I really enjoy being at the beach and the ocean, just the emotions that gives me. And I hope I'm capturing that to share with viewers. So I work in soft pastel. I use a paper called UArt primarily. I do have a couple other surfaces that I work on, but it's basically an archival sanded surface. And the grit, the tooth of the paper is what holds the pastel pigment on there. And so pastel is all about layering. So you kind of start out, much like with wet media, what is the expression? Fat over lean. So it's the same kind of way with soft pastels. There's a varying in hardness and softness among soft pastels. So you start with the harder ones. They don't lay down as much pigment, and the softer ones are for later when you want to really get it on there. And so it's all about building up the color on the surface. It's not like with painting in acrylics where you're mixing it here and then you're putting it on the surface. You're doing all your color mixing right there on the surface. And then it's just, if you use one type of pressure, it will actually blend the pigments together. If you use a lighter pressure, it might just glaze over the top and let those previous layers show through. So it's just a fun process of back and forth. You put one color on and maybe I got a little too much. You might go back for the other until you achieve what you're looking for. You asked why pastel. I'm attracted to pastel because it's just more intuitive for me. I've always really enjoyed drawing and the immediacy of working right on the surface. So for me, with wet paint, it's, mixing and then putting it on with a brush, and the brush just kind of feels like it's in the way for me. I just really like the immediacy of working right on the surface. And pastel is almost pure pigment. It's the same pigment that you'd find in other paint. It's just instead of so much binder to make it wet, it's just enough to roll it into a stick. So you really can't beat its color power because of that reason. Also, being a mother, obviously I got into pastels long before I knew whether or not I was having children, but now that I do, it's really great that I can just stop and set it aside and it's waiting there. There's no drying time. I don't have to worry about wet paint getting bad before I can get back to it or anything like that. So it's been a great medium for me, and I just am really passionate about it. Well, I lived in North Carolina for about 14 years, so we went to the Outer Banks quite frequently, and the last couple trips to the beach have been in Florida, like Cocoa Beach area, visiting some extended family, and it's just such a great experience, and really surrounds your senses, and I love all the colors, the sounds. There's just a lot there that helps me not only to relax, but also to kind of re-energize as well. So primarily with the wave paintings, I take video while I'm there. It's really helpful to try to look at before and after frames of the main composition that you want, just to get a sense of the motion that the water has. But I do try to paint plein air while I'm there as well, and that really helps me to know the colors and things. So I don't have it playing while I'm painting, but I definitely capture my one frame that's got kind of the main composition, but then I'm looking at maybe a couple seconds here and there just to get a sense of how it's going. I have tried plein air painting the actual waves as they're coming in, and that is difficult because you kind of have to find a similar style of wave so that the color and the lighting is the same to be able to make the right marks. And so that's a complicated process, but it does teach you a lot. So yeah. Absolutely. The more that you can paint on location and really get a sense of the place, the more information you're going to have to be able to put into a studio piece. So I really enjoy the way beauty in nature makes me feel, and there's enough ugly in the world, and I want to share more of that beauty and joy.